So today, what I wanted to talk about, this was actually sent to me in my Discord. So if you guys haven't checked out my Discord, I'll make sure I'll put a link down in the description. So this was sent to me in my Discord, and the title of this video is called, it is right here, it is called, oh, you guys can't see that, but it's called My 315 Pound Life plus Why the Fat Acceptance Movement Kinda Sucks. I watched like the first 30 seconds of this video, but I haven't seen the whole thing. So I'm kind of interested to see, you know, the whole thing. So let's go ahead and play this and see what it's about.
Yeah, whoa. Yeah, whoa.
That cat is not having it.
Hello, welcome back to my channel.
That was loud.
I am Megan. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're new, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
So this video is pretty long. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit so we're not sitting here for ever. All right.
It's like 10 p.m. right now. I went to the gym tonight for the first time in like a month and a half. Excuse me. And I just ate a whole plate of fruit because health. And yeah, so my endorphins are still rolling and I can't sleep. So I figured I would make this video. Also, yes, I have my hair tied up in that whole like TikTok robe tie situation. I just really like what it does for my hair.
It's funny when like people are maybe haven't been making videos for like a long time, and you can tell they're kind of nervous, so they like talk about random stuff. I still kind of do this, but I don't know, it's funny. That's something that I notice a lot when people are a little bit newer.
It looks cute, compliments the bangs well, which are finally getting trimmed on Tuesday, thank God. And I'm also wearing a Jonas Brothers t-shirt from when I went and saw them last year. So, now that we've got that out of the way, I can stop procrastinating. I've been trying to articulate my thoughts on this topic for a very long time, and I knew I wanted to make a video about it. But I just knew I had, and that I wanted to tread about it very lightly. My thoughts on this used to be a lot different, and they changed. And I think it's okay for opinions to change. I think we need to say that more, because it's just part of growing up and just growing in general.
I agree with that. I think like a lot of people, especially like if you're like online and you say an opinion, you feel like you have to stay with that, because like if you change your opinion, people will call you like a hypocrite, or they'll call you like, oh, like, I think it's okay for your opinion to change on a certain like topic.
Is your opinions changing on things after certain life experiences that you've had, or just after anything? Like, your opinion can just, change. The topic of the fat acceptance movement for me has been a very weird one for a while. I was watching an Obese to Beast video.
Oh.
I think it
Hey. That's me. Hello. My name is John.
was like, I think it was like a snippet from like a live stream that he did.
Nope.
But he was responding to and giving commentary on a girl talking about her experience with the fat acceptance movement and how she's no longer
I haven't seen this video yet. That's funny. Hey, that's kind of cool. That's funny.
involved in it, and how it kind of ultimately affected her health really negatively. And watching that, it made me think like, wow, this all sounds really familiar, and it honestly kind of pissed me off, because I was like, this is something that I just felt like I wanted to talk about, because it is so prevalent right now. I made a script.
Wow.
I made notes. Like,
This is like, it's a scary topic to talk about, because you can like, speaking about this, people will get so unbelievably upset at you, just for sharing, your opinion and how this movement kind of affected you. So I'm really interested to see like what she says here.
the title is Why Fat Acceptance Kinda Sucks, because it kind of does suck. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. My first point is that I am not trying to say that body positivity is bad. Body positivity and fat acceptance are two different things, to me anyways, and I think that the fat acceptance movement has kind of overtaken the body positivity movement.
Woo! I agree so far.
Which kind of sucks, but it's not all that bad. I just think they're two very different things, and body positivity is super rad and like something that I still am working on and am still a huge advocate for other people. Also, second disclaimer, I am not trying to come at this and come at you with this thinking I am any kind of health nut that knows better than you. There's a lot of people on this platform that talk about the fat acceptance movement, and they're so aggressive about it, And the level of arrogance that they portray sometimes is really intimidating and annoying.
Wow. Yes. 100%. Wow, this is great. And you guys know I love a good disclaimer. So she's throwing those disclaimers in there. So shout out to this girl.
And I'm not trying to be that person. Lest we forget, I am still over 200 pounds. And I ate Dunkin' Donuts and Chinese takeout today. And I went to the gym for the first time in like a month and a half.
Crushing it. I love the honesty, man. That's what we need more of.
So I'm not trying to act like I am better, healthier, whatever than anybody else. This is just my opinion on how the fat acceptance movement has affected my life personally. And obviously, just like this is my opinion, and like do whatever the fuck you want. Like whatever makes you happy, that's awesome. But I just want to, as someone who has lost some weight, I want to talk about this because I feel like it was such a big part of my life for such a long time. But obviously, like do whatever you want. Like who cares? Who cares? Now that I have those disclaimers out of the way, let's just jump into
5 minutes in, finally into the video. I know the struggle.
my story, shall we? So I would say my experience with the whole fat acceptance movement came about when I was about 16 or 17. I can't remember if I was like a senior in high school or like young college, like my first year of college. I can't remember. It was sometime around that point in my life. And it was when I discovered Tess Holliday. And it was before she was actually Tess Holliday. She hadn't gotten married yet. But I did find her on the Instagram. I had never seen someone who looked like me at the time, who had the same kind of body as me, rocking it. Honestly, like I had not seen that before. And such a public, public platform. If you don't know Tess Holliday, she's a very successful plus size model. She has this brand called F Your Beauty Standards, and it's about like the beauty standards in media and in society and how we need to change them. And I totally 100% back that. I don't 100% back the brand, but I back the concept of the brand. Oh
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that so far.
my god, I feel like I'm gonna make a lot of people really mad with this video. So I came about Tess and I did some research into her, and I specifically remember showing her to my mom when we were at dinner at Applebee's. And I'm like, Mom, look at this girl. She's amazing. Like, she's fat and she's beautiful and blah, blah, blah. It was just so cool for me to see, like I said, a fat girl doing all of these things when I too was a fat girl. After I discovered Tess, it led me to discover a lot of other fat positive, fat acceptance influencers on Instagram. And I had never felt so excited and so accepted. Never felt so accepted when I discovered the fat acceptance community and the influencers in it.
So this is something that I mean, I've talked about before, but I think that having people to look up to and having people that, you know, might have like similar bodies to you, that can represent you and just in life in general, I think that's a positive thing, and I think that it's good. And so this is where I probably disagree with a lot of people that might make similar videos that I make as well, is because like a lot of people were like, oh, it's glorifying obesity. Everyone calls everything glorifying obesity. Now, I do definitely think there are certain things that glorify obesity, but just someone existing in a fat body and posting pictures of themselves in a fat body, whether they're in a bikini, whether they're in regular clothes, whether they're in work attire, whatever, like that to me isn't glorifying obesity. There's a difference there. And so I do think that it is a good thing to have people that have similar body types or different body types that are being out there. I personally don't think that just people existing in bigger bodies is glorifying obesity.
Seeing people that look like me, modeling, advertising clothes. Like, I've been a big fashion nerd ever since I can remember. So, like, seeing women wearing awesome clothes and different clothes that, like, weren't just, like, standard plus-size clothes was so cool to me. Mm-hmm. And I do attribute growing up with this movement, kind of being in my adolescence in this movement, I do give that full credit for me developing my, like, general sense of style.
Absolutely. This is great. Like, the movement can absolutely give people confidence. And I think like confidence is such a huge thing, especially when we're growing up, right? Especially if we're in like high school or we're going through all of that, and having just, even if a movement gives you confidence to maybe step out of your shell a little bit and take different steps that maybe you wouldn't have before, like that's a powerful thing. And I think that is something that should be celebrated. And again, I'm not 100% totally against, body positivity and being able to post about these things, because I think the more confident people are, the better, right? I think that's a good thing.
And realizing that there were other brands out there that I didn't know about, I really got a lot of what, and still how I dress from this movement. So that's one thing, is that it taught me it's okay to like just be you. And that's not and that's never a bad thing. My cats are fighting, so if you hear any like scruffling over there, that's why. When I discovered Tess Holliday, at that point in my life, I'd always been like a generally positive, confident person. My body and my size didn't bother me, although that's how I acted. But in hindsight, I know that that's about the time when it really did start to bother me. I was really excited to finally feel accepted and to finally feel like my body was good and it was beautiful, which it was. And I will say this till I'm blue in the face to anybody who I talked to about like before and after pictures or whatever. I don't consider myself worth any more or any less than I am now, and vice versa, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. I do not, like, you are worthy of love and you are worthy of self-love at any body type. And that's where the body positivity thing comes in for me, is I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm getting off track. Let's not get off track.
No, I agree. I agree with that too. Like, I think obviously everyone deserves respect, and I've always said, like, if you are going to go on a massive weight loss journey and you are going to do all of these things to change your life, like that has to come from a place of self-love if that is going to stick around for a long time, right? You are not going to lose all of that weight while still being like, I hate everything about myself and I hate, like, I don't see that. Like, you might lose the weight, you might get the weight off, but keeping it off for years and years and years to come, it is not going to just happen and you're going to be like hating yourself the whole time. Like, self-love has to be intertwined with a weight loss journey and just a general health journey as well.
My body was good and it was just unhealthy. And I didn't want to see that. And entering into the fat acceptance movement really made me blind to that. I have my script broken.
Wow. That was powerful. I mean, she kind of skipped over that, but yeah. Yeah, I was blind to that. That's powerful right there.
Down into like parts with bullets, because that's just how my brain works. This part is called When It Became Kind of Not Great. That's actually what I typed. I think one of the pivotal points for me when the fat acceptance movement became not so great, in hindsight, in all, like, when I'm talking about all this throughout this entire time, I was not self-aware. I didn't really become self-aware until I was about 21 about the state of my body and the state of my life if I kept on going on how I was going.
Woo, yes. Oh man. And this is something I've said many times, right? A lot of the people that are very loud in the health at every size movement, or that are very loud in the body positivity movement, are very young, right? They are under 35. And I've always said that, like, you might be healthy right now, but in 10 years, it might be really bad. And I don't want that for people. I don't want that for anyone, right? So this is why I get nervous, is because a lot of these people, they have these big platforms, they have these loud voices, and they're really young, and they haven't really had any complications with their weight or with their size or anything like that, because they haven't had any complications with their health because of their size yet. But I really do think it is just a matter of time, right? I've said this many times before. Like, you see a lot of really large people, and you see a lot of older people, but you don't typically see a lot of really large older people, right? And that is just a fact.
But yeah, so one of like the big points that I remember was always subscribing to the idea that I was fat, but like I was healthy. My blood work was fine. Like, everything was fine, so I'm fine. That's one of the big things I always remember thinking, and that's one of the main things the fat acceptance community preaches, is the whole health at every size thing, which I do not. Having been both sides of the spectrum, I know that is not true. One of the other things I remember thinking that my doctors were being unnecessarily harsh to me because of my weight, and that all of my health problems that I was having at the time were being blamed on my weight without actually looking into them, which I do believe is an issue. I really do. I got treated like that a lot with my mental health stuff. I've lost 115-ish pounds, and my mental health hasn't gotten really any better, so I think that got kind of written off. But it's like, looking back at some of the health problems I did have, they were weight related, and I just didn't want to face it.
I think, a lot of the stuff that she's saying I agree with, as far as, like, I've always said, losing weight isn't going to be a silver bullet that's going to solve all your health issues, right? That's just not how it works. It's not true, right? But there are absolutely doctors, and this is like one of the things with the health at every size. One of the things with the health at every size movement that I 100% agree with, that I really do think is a problem, is how doctors treat people that are overweight or that do struggle with obesity, that do have a lot of extra weight on them, is they blame every single thing on your weight. And that is that is a genuine problem that I think should be addressed. And I know it has been addressed. I have a friend, Dr. Nadolski. He's been on the channel many times, and he talks about it so much with his doctor friends and people that are much smarter than me. I think that that is a problem that should be addressed. So again, I do agree with some of the stuff of the fat acceptance movement or health at every size. It's just not everything, right?
That is preached a lot in the fat acceptance movement is that your doctor's weighing you. I've actually seen this. Your doctor's weighing you at your appointment is fat phobic, which I think is the biggest crock of bullshit ever. If you're at a certain weight at a certain age, they have to start screening you for if you need a certain medication. And I know this because I was on that medication. I feel like I'm getting kind of spicy in this video, and I'm sorry. It's just like I've been gathering my thoughts about this for like the entire week, which is why there wasn't a video on Wednesday, because I knew I needed to save my filming energy for this video in order for it to be articulate. Yeah. Another thing that I kind of just threw to the wayside was eating any kind of nutritious food, good for me food, and only eating what made me happy, because I felt like it was a form of self-care and self-love, which I still do think that no foods should be ever cut out. That is not a thing. Moderation is key. At this point in my life, I was treating it as a very big extreme, and I ate like garbage because those foods, I don't know the science, but they just make you feel good. And I was like, who the fuck cares? Like, I'm fat. The world just has to like deal with it, and I'm gonna eat what I want. I distinctly remember, which I don't even know if this friend.
So this is something that happens. This is something that happens a lot. Is people they'll like moralize food. So like when we go to lose weight, we'll turn foods into either good or bad. Like, oh, a burger is bad food and it makes me a bad person, but eating chicken and rice makes me a good person, right? And I think that that is a problem. And a lot of people, I think, have taken it too far, though, like with the fat acceptance movement, is if you are doing any sort of changing up your diet, changing up your nutrition, trying to make better choices, like, it has literally become, people are saying any type of doing anything with your diet, tracking macros, tracking calories, doing keto, doing all of these other types of diets is an eating disorder. Like, it has literally gone from, it feels like, and I know that people probably aren't saying this, but I know that people feel like if you decide to do anything for your health as far as nutrition is concerned, you have an eating disorder and you have a problem. Like, that's what people feel like they're being told with this movement. And so that is, I think that that's where she's kind of going with that. And it is frustrating to hear that.
Remembers doing this, but I remember this because it pissed me off so much. But in now, I'm like, wow, she cared about me and my health when I didn't. We were at another friend's house and we were eating pizza.
Oh, look at Megan. Megan, this is you, right? Megan that just commented. Thanks for the $2. You don't have to pay me or anything, but this is awesome. Well, I'm watching your video, so we're gonna get through it. That's cool.
And I was eating so much pizza and like bread, and which like same still, but like
yes, bread. I love bread.
Moderation. I remember we were eating so much pizza and bread, or I was eating so much pizza and bread, excuse me. And my friend, like, I don't remember what exactly they said. She just made a comment about how much I'd eaten at that point. And I remember being so taken aback, kind of embarrassed, but like, honestly, I needed to hear that because I stopped, I think. I don't know if I stopped, but I just remember that. And now that I have kind of learned those cues myself of like when to stop eating, I'm like, holy shit, she was just looking out for me. But I was so offended and embarrassed, but I didn't say anything.
Yes. Oh man, this is so good. Like, I remember, I've said this before, but I had a sister that would constantly talk about my weight, and she was never mean or never tried to be mean, but it was my perception of anytime she brought it up, I felt like she was attacking me and I felt like she was being mean. And this is something that I'm sure a lot of you guys in chat, a lot of you guys watching the video have probably dealt with the Health at Every Size movement. And like, if you bring up anyone's size or the amount of food that they're eating, they'll call you like fat phobic, they'll call you fat shaming, they'll call you so many words when you might genuinely be trying to help someone, right? Like I've said, if it's someone that you don't know, of course, leave them alone. Like, you don't need to help that person. Like, it's none of your business really. But like, if it's like a family member of yours or someone, a close friend, and you're genuinely concerned, it can be kind of scary bringing that up. But a lot of times, like, if you are genuinely concerned for a friend, you want to bring it up because you know that they're struggling with their weight. You know that they're struggling with their health.
I'm just that kind of a person. I just distinctly remember that. But at that point, I was kind of like, I'm fat, deal with it. I'm going to eat what I want, and you're going to be fat phobic. And it's such a...
Well, she said it. There you go.
toxic way of thinking, you're putting your life on the fast track. And that's exactly what I was doing, because I didn't care. Because I just wanted everybody to accept me because I was fat. Because that's how I felt that it should be. And yes, do I think fat people are unfairly treated in our society? Abso-fucking-lutely. I will preach that till I'm blue in the face. I may not be plus size anymore, but when a plus size person is winning, I'm still winning.
This is so good. Megan, you did such a great job. This is so good. I feel like it's like the female version of myself talking right now. This is awesome.
I still believe in that. I believe that that is truly a thing that fat people, plus size people, whatever, are treated very unfairly in our society. I just want to put that out there as well. Okay, my camera cut off, but we're back. So I'm just going to start off on a new point, I guess. So when it got kind of not great, per my notes, the biggest like overarching thing was I started to feel like the world was against me as a fat person, which, like I just said, in some ways it is. And I am not going to ever deny that, because it is. I've lived both sides of the coin, and I'm still not super like thin, but I've lived both sides of that coin for the most part. And I do know that fat people are unfairly treated in our society.
I agree with that.
That is a thing, and that's something that I will not deny. But the mindset of thinking everybody's against you because you're fat, that's such a bad mindset for yourself. It wasn't good. And as like a 16, 17-year-old young adult thinking these things, it was not good. So, yes, that is a thing that fat people have to deal with. I feel like they just kind of like amp you up to keep believing these things, and it just gets to be a very negative mindset to be in. Part of me filming this video is that I wanted to kind of spill some tea about where my life was when I hit my highest weight after being in the fat acceptance mindset for probably like 4 years. I made a list.
All right, let's hear the tea. I'm ready.
By the age of 21, I had hit 315 pounds. In no way, shape, or form is that healthy. I was 315 pounds. Still, when I hit that weight, that's when I really started to be like, ugh, like really not happy with myself and my appearance. But yeah, by the age of 21, 315 pounds. That's the highest I ever remember weighing. And also, something that I just did not focus on for the longest time, which is so stupid. I was pre-diabetic, guys. And I was pre-diabetic. I was diagnosed at the age of 16 or like 17. Still, really young to be diagnosed with these issues. I was on medication for it. I was pre-diabetic. And I just didn't care. I think part of it is just teenage stupidity.
This is so wild, man. Like when I was a sophomore, I think, in high school. It was a sophomore or a junior, and I graduated when I was 17, so it was like 14 or 15. I went to the doctor, and they basically told me I was pre-diabetic, so I wasn't like pre-diabetic, but I was like about to be pre-diabetic, if that makes any sense. And so I remember thinking the same exact thing, like thinking to myself, like when he told me that I was pre-diabetic, in my head I was thinking, oh, well, at least I'm not diabetic, you know, I'm fine, or I'm not even pre-diabetic, you know, like I just remember thinking like, it's no big deal. And so like hearing this, it's just so crazy, because I remember thinking the same exact way and like just literally getting to a point of just not caring. Like I was like, whatever, it is what it is. I remember like thinking to myself, I am just gonna become diabetic. Like I can't do any, like, I remember thinking, I literally can't do anything about it. It's just gonna happen. And I remember thinking when he told me I was pre-diabetic, again, like I said, I was like, oh, great. I thought I was for sure. So I'm killing it now. And I just, thinking back, like being 14 or 15, that being my mindset of, I can't change anything, so might as well just live with it. And this might sound kind of crazy, or mean, but I am so glad I didn't find the Health at Every Size movement when I was that age. Like, I am so glad I didn't, because I don't know what would have happened. And I'm not trying to say anyone that believes in it is a bad person, but I know for me, it probably would not have been a good thing. Seriously, it probably would not have been a good thing.
But I think a lot of it, too, was I saw all these people who looked like me and were fat like me, just living their lives, going about their lives, seemingly not caring about anything that was going on with their body. And, yeah, I just did not give a shit about being pre-diabetic. And in hindsight, I'm like, Megan, like, that was huge. What were you thinking? I don't understand how that was not, like, the big, like, thing that it should have been. But it just wasn't. 315 pounds, pre-diabetic. Third thing, which this was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me and made me realize, like, yo, Megan, shit's gotta change, was I went in for some routine blood work. I think it was for like a physical or something. And it came back and I got this long ass letter in the mail. And it was like, hey, Megan, your liver enzymes are like really bad. I don't really know what the issue was, but they just weren't what they were supposed to be by like a long shot. And my liver function was also not good. I went to art school, so I'm not describing any of this correctly. Like, just bear with me. But my liver, just, she wasn't working as it should for a 21-year-old person. And they told me in the letter that if I kept on going how I was going, I was going to develop fatty liver disease, and I just did not want that, and that's what scared me. Forget being 315 pounds, forget being pre-diabetic at the age of 16, but
Wow.
my liver being weird was what did it for me.
So, and this is what scares me, man. Like, I'm seriously, this is what scares me when I talk about people that have had, that have like large followings, right? Large followings in the body positivity, health at every size movement, that they have this big following that their whole brand is about you can be healthy at any size, and their whole brand is about no matter what size you are, everything will be fine. Like, imagine them getting that information that she just talked about, and now what is going on in that person's head? Like, imagine being that person. I don't want to be that person, because now you are going to deal with, instead of just being like, oh, that's bad, let me make a change. Now you have to deal with, oh, that's bad, I should probably make a change. But if I do, my whole livelihood is going to crash down. If I do, all of my friends that I've made in the health at every size movement are going to treat me like garbage. If I do, everyone's going to think I'm a fraud and I've been a fake. If I do, like, it is, I cannot imagine being in that position, and that's what scares me so much. Like, seriously scares me so much, because any other person that isn't in that spot, right? Any other person that isn't in that spot, they hear that information, it is, well, let's make a change. How can I make a change? What can I do, right? But for someone that is in that position, that's not where your mind is going to go. It's going to go, oh my gosh, my whole livelihood. Oh my gosh, all these people. Oh my gosh, what are they going to think? Like, that is, it seriously is terrifying to think about. And I really hope there is no one that is in that situation, because that would be incredibly hard to deal with.
Keeping track, 315 pounds at the age of 21. Pre-diabetic at the age of 16. Liver function, not what it should be at the age of like 20 or 21. Other not really like medical things was I was just struggling. Like, I was walking across my very small university campus was hard for me. A 5-minute walk would make me feel winded and my legs would hurt. Like, that was kind of a thing. Or, not kind of a thing. It was a thing. I just overall felt really uncomfortable, and the best way that I can describe it is I could feel my body just trying to be a body. I don't think people will understand what I mean when I say that unless they've also felt something similar. And that was when I decided that it was something had to give, was when I truly was just struggling to just do basic functions. And don't forget, please, what it did for my mental health. Like, putting on weight, eating bad, all that stuff, it just made me feel really awful. Like, forget all the physical things that were going on with me, I just felt like crap. And I kept denying it because I'm like, Megan, you're just fat, like, it's just how it's gonna be, you've been fat your whole life, like, think of Tess Holliday, she's fat and she loves it. Nah. It was really not a great time in my life, especially when I was like older and like towards the end, before I started to actually take weight loss seriously. I was just really mentally not great. Like, just felt like I was struggling. You know, if I could like put a bullet list, I would say 315 pounds by the age of 21, diagnosed with prediabetes and on medication at the age of 16 or 17, I don't remember what. Liver function, not what it should be at the age of 20 or 21. Not able to walk across campus for 5 minutes without being out of breath. And overall just feeling really shitty about myself. My body feeling shitty, not being able to work how it's supposed to work. And yes, all this by the ripe old age of 21 years old.
Oh man. Okay, so this is, I love this, because something that I've spoken about many times, right? When I was at my heaviest, I was 20 years old, right? Almost 400 pounds, 20 years old. And I remember I worked at the Vans shoe store. I'm wearing Vans right now. Can you see them? Vans. So I remember I would work just 4-hour shifts. And by the end of that 4 hours, I was in so much pain, right? And I would complain to my coworkers all the time, and they probably were not happy with me because they're like, dude, I don't want to hear it anymore. But I was in so much pain. My feet, my knees, my ankles, my back. 20 years old, you guys. Like, this is something like everyone likes to talk when we talk about like the health at every size movement. Everyone's like, oh, my blood work's fine. Oh, this is fine. Oh, that's fine. But like, how is the quality of your life, right? For most people, when you get to that size, the quality of your life is going to go down. So if you really like love yourself and you want to have the best life possible, why would you not want to improve the quality of your life? Like, why would you not want to improve that? I don't like you, and you can. Like, that's the thing is like, you can. If you want to lose weight, if you want to do, like, you absolutely can. Like, this is something that might affect you, but you can actually make a difference by making choices. Like, you can actually make choices that change your situation, right? If you have cancer, you're not just going to be able to change your diet and then all of a sudden your cancer is gone, or any other diseases. Like, this is something that happens to us, that we can make a change and improve the quality of our life and improve how much we enjoy living day to day, and improve the amount of pain that we're in, improve how long we live. Like, that's so awesome. And there are so many people that are so against it now, and it blows my mind. Because we have this power that most people that have these might have diseases, they might have issues with their body, that if you told them, okay, if you just ate a little bit differently, if you just moved a little bit more, this thing would go away. Those people would be like, sign me up. I'm going to do it. Let me get, I am so excited. I can make a change. But there's so many people that when you tell them that they can make a change, they get mad at you. They say, how dare you? And it's just, I'm out of breath. Let me just see. Sorry.
This is something that I struggle with my weight loss. I should talk about this in therapy next week because I haven't brought it up yet. But I do struggle with the fact that I let myself get that out of control, and that just like willy-nilly with my life, basically, because that's what it was. I do really struggle with that. And I think a lot of it was perpetuated by constantly seeing all these fat activists and fat acceptance people living their life and not talking about any of the bad stuff that comes with being morbidly obese, because that's the fact of the matter, is I was morbidly obese, and so are all these people. And they're pretending like nothing's wrong, and having been there, I can tell you that something's wrong, and if it's not wrong yet, it will be.
And that's the thing, man. Like, if you talk about the negatives, you get called fat phobic. You get called all these names for just speaking about the negatives. And it's like, it's scary, so people just don't do it. And then if you do, and you're saying you're trying to lose weight, like, you become an enemy of this movement. And it's sad that we can't just work together. Like, it really is sad.
But for me, it was wrong at the age of 20. And that's just what it was. In conclusion, I feel like I'm giving like a speech right now, but I had to come prepared. I'm really not trying to come off as a dick in this video. That is not my intention. I am not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to open people's eyes to how toxic this mindset can be, and how life-threatening, honestly, it can be. And I don't think the fat acceptance movement is inherently bad. And like I said, I developed a lot of my personal style from being in this community for so long. And that's something that I can't fault it for, because I learned that dressing your own way and having your own style is an okay thing to do and is a great thing to do. Mm-hmm. And I learned it from all of these people. So I can't say that it's all bad, but I just think it's spreading a false narrative about morbid obesity that needs to be kaput. I think everybody should be okay with, and this is more body positivity, I think everybody should be okay with their body the way it is now, and make the positive steps to make it how you would like it to be. And if that's to be fat, who am I to stop you? Like, do what you want to do, right? I used to work at an activewear store, and it was super awesome. I made a lot of really cool relationships with people, and I would get these, and it was primarily a women's activewear store, and I'd get these women that came in, and they were like, I'm fat, what can we do? And like, I know that's really like, it's just like, but I used to think like that, and I still do think like that. I think like that more than I did when I actually was super fat, right? Mm-hmm. But I would always tell them, if you can't fix it within 30 seconds, don't dwell on it, and make the changes that you would like to change, or that you would like to make you the happiest version of you that you can be. And I stand by that, and I still tell people that, and I'm trying to implement that myself. Genuinely feel like the fat acceptance movement made me feel like the damage and the harm that I was doing to my body was okay.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, when that becomes normalized, that can be scary, right?
Because it was coming from a place of self-care and self-love, because I was feeding my body what I wanted to eat. And obviously I wanted to eat trash. Just think that the fat acceptance movement and the individuals in it that I followed just kind of perpetuated that, and I'm not putting the blame on them at all. What I did was 100% me. Mm-hmm. But I just think seeing all of these people presumably living happy, healthy lives made me think that what I was doing was okay. And it just kind of like pushed me along saying like, yes, Megan, it is okay.
And one thing that you notice quite a bit with the health at every size or the fat acceptance movement is it is like Instagram to a T how much they post the highlight reel instead of the reality. Like people post about, oh, I'm working out, oh, I'm doing this, oh, this is what I'm doing. But the reality is so far different. Like they might be going through some things, they might have some aches, they might have some pains, they might have some serious medical conditions, but those things are never brought up. And it's just the positive, and it's just the this is great, this is awesome. And I fear, and like she said, you fear for the people that are following them that think that's how it should be for them as well. And then when things start to go south, maybe they don't take it as seriously. Maybe they don't do the things that maybe they should. And maybe they would have done those things if they didn't start listening to these what I believe are fake truths. They're not reality. And I think that is dangerous.
Keep doing what you're doing great. But I was not doing great. On the opposite end of this spectrum, I have delved into so many fitness Instagrams, YouTube channels, whatever, and I feel like on the opposite side of this video, I could also make a video about why the fitness community a lot of times on social media also kind of sucks.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes. It is the same thing, and I think Sarah said it. That's all social media for the most part, in my opinion. Yes. Everyone, even me, right? And I try to be as real as I can, but everyone is going to post more positive than they will negative. There might be some people that might post a little bit more of the negative that's going on in their life, but not everyone is going to be posting all of the negative. Because again, we struggle with this, well, I don't want to be a negative person and I want to put out positivity, especially as someone that has a following. I don't want to always be posting negative stuff, right? Because some people are going to be like, I don't want to follow him anymore. He's always negative. And so it is incredibly important when you're looking at social media to understand it's fake. It's not real, right? It's not real. Or it is a highlight reel. It is what people want you to see. And there is almost always things that are going on in that person's life that they don't want you to see. And if you only follow them on social media, you're not going to see it.
Because I am now just getting to the point, like, Megan, you don't have to be a health guru. You don't have to be a fitness nut. You just have to be healthy. And that's all that matters. But before I was getting to this point, another reason why I started therapy, I was so fixated on these just fitness nuts where, like, all they did was go to the gym and eat plain chicken and broccoli. And that also screws with your head, and that's not good either. So if you want to see me make that video, which honestly will require a little bit more research because I didn't grow up with it and I haven't been in that community for very long, but if you want to see that video, leave a comment down below or like this video or something, because I would be very interested in making something like that as well.
It's frustrating, man. And like, this is why when I do my full day of eatings, when I show my vlogs, like I show myself eating microwave food. I show myself eating like sandwiches and chips. And because it's important to show people that like most people aren't out here eating, like making their own custom acai bowls and making their own like these illustrious meals all the time. Like that's not what is really going on, and people think that they have to do that if they want to make a change, and you don't. Like you can just don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. If what you're doing is good enough, that's literally all that matters. So 100% I agree with that.
Overall, I just needed to get my opinions out on this topic because while I do support the body positivity movement wholeheartedly, I do not support the fat acceptance movement or the health at every size movement, because I think as a whole, they're just not good, and they don't promote good things, and they're dangerous to people. That's all I really have to say. Thank you for making it this far. I know this has probably been a very long video, but I just wanted to sit in my bed and chat about my feelings on this topic. Hopefully, I did it in the way that I wanted to, and I don't want to offend anybody. I just wanted to share my experience. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, I talk about a bunch of other lifestyle things, and sometimes I cook, sometimes I vlog. You know, I'm just kind of here, making videos, talking to myself. So if you liked it, subscribe. I'm trying to build a family here, and I would really like it if you joined. So, yeah. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Awesome. Well, I will make sure that I link Megan's channel down in the description if you guys want to check that out. I think that these videos with people talking about their experience, especially people that have been inside and like have dealt with it and have dealt with the negatives and the positives, I think they're really important. And so I'm going to continue, talking about it when I see them brought up, because I think that this is a really important conversation to have. And I think that she did a great job, explaining things that I would never be able to explain because I haven't been there. But really, really awesome video.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.